Hi, welcome back to A Better Choice Homestead. I have some up potting to do, and we are going to move the smaller seedlings into larger soil blocks today, and we're going to be separating out and up potting a variety of things. So I've got the celery. So I've chosen 3 pots of celery. 1, 2, and 3. These have multiples growing in them. In fact, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one has 2 nice size ones. And this one has 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've chosen 3 of the pots that do have germination, but it's very slow. So you can see that there's germination in there, but they're so far behind the other guys that I'm going to try and separate some. I'm only going to do it with 3 because I just don't think that celery likes to be messed with, but I want this number, a specific number of celery. So I'm going to take these out, and you can see that they do have really nice root formation, and they're not root bound at all. And now I am going to hold the 2 plants away from each other, and then gently, I'm going to do it over this, gently pull them in opposite directions, very gently. There we go. Now let's hope that they come back. So I am going to fill one of these with more soil. And since we got about half of a container, right, it split pretty evenly, I'm only filling this pot halfway on one side, and I'm going to drop this in there. And I will get him watered in really well and hope that he bounces back. And now I have to sacrifice these little guys to put this guy in there. Cover up all his roots. And again, hope that he bounces back. I don't know that celery likes to be left alone once it's started growing, but just my recollection tells me that that's the case. So 2 done, 2 to go. I'm going to empty these out. Again, sacrificing those little tiny ones that are way far behind all the others. And we've got to separate these ones. Now this one, I'm just going to pull the one that's on the corner off and leave these 3 here. I won't let those 3 continue growing all the way, but I'm going to let them go for a while to see which one is the more dominant or healthy. And this one wanted to pull 2. That's fine. So we'll move 2 into this pot. that worked well. These guys look really happy. They have some room to stretch out their roots before they get planted outside, which will actually be fairly quickly now. I'm going to get these guys over onto their regular tray, and then we are going to move on to some cabbages that really need to go into the larger soil blocks. We'll see how that goes. In order to use this bigger block, I went ahead and added a bunch of peat moss to my medium here. And so in here right now, I have some potting soil, some worm castings, and peat moss. And this is probably 1/3 peat moss, and then more of the potting soil than the worm castings. And the potting soil does have some nutrition in it, and the worm castings add more. And the worm castings are a slow release fertilizer. So let's see if this soil block will hold together. I have yet to make successful soil blocks with this large blocker, but I really need it, or I need to move back to my solo cups, which I can do. I just don't want to. That's not bad. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Some of it just didn't release, but I think I can make this work. I am so determined. I think I can make it work. I really hope so. I need at least 5 of these, at least 5 today, or solo cups. Those cabbages have got to be potted up. I'm hoping that just being close together will help hold their shape. And this might be too wet. I might need to add some more peat moss or something. But we're gonna give it a go. I'm just gonna try to fill up this tray. Okay, one more. They're not the best, but we're gonna see if we can get them to work. And the benefit of this is that at time of transplant, I'm not gonna have a bunch of cells or solo cups or anything to wash. I'm gonna have one tray to spray out. I'm not gonna have to store all of that plastic to reuse it. I'm not gonna have to rebuy it when it breaks. Okay, I'm a little excited, a lot dirty, a little excited. Let's see what we can do. I've got cabbages here that are quite large for what they're growing in right now. And this is the red acre cabbage. So let's get it moved and let's see if we can make this work. And if not, like I said, I will move to solo cups. But this guy, he's quite big for being smushed in this mass cell tray here. So we're going to plop him in right here. I'm going to kind of fold the edges over the top of him. And then I'll keep a close eye on these over the next few days to make sure that the block is, you know, not separating and exposing this guy's roots. But he's going to be much happier there than he was in that little tiny tray, that little tiny block. All right, next, it's another red rock red rock cabbage. This little guy's roots. We're going to plop him in that empty spot right there. And I'm just going to fold the edges of that block over the top of him. Put his tag in there. He looks great. They look great. Okay, it's a heavy tray now, that's for sure. All right, this little guy's going to go there. We're still doing the red rock cabbages. Oh yeah, that's an easy way to up pot things if you can get your soil blocks to hold together. And I'm not having any problems with the small and the medium soil block. It's these big ones. It's really hard to get that soil to hold form. Oh, look at that. This is, okay, now it's fun. It's been frustrating. Now it's kind of fun because it just fits into that little divot. No problem. Got one little guy here. Just going to put him in that divot and then fold, kind of like an envelope, just kind of fold the block edges over him. I think I'm going to move this collard over here. This little guy, I know it's hard to see with my really dirty hands, but he's going to go in here. And these ones will not be in the house much longer. They can go out well before your last frost date. So we're just giving them a nice good start to really establish the roots before they go out in a bigger growing tray. And then I'm going to move, I have 4 blocks left. I'm going to move the Waltham 29 broccoli. These are going to grow better for a fall harvest, but I wanted to give them a shot at early spring as well. So I'm teasing these apart very gently. He'll go there. Here and here. And then I also want to move this Danish ball head cabbage also. This guy. All right, so here's the soil block I made, and then it has 4 little walls and a divot. So this little guy, this Danish ball head cabbage, is just going to seat in that little empty spot, and then I'm just going to fold the wall edges over the top of him like that. And there we have it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All right, we've up potted 10 of these seedlings into the larger soil blocks. And Well, let me get my hands washed and I'll give you my thoughts on this. The blocks we just made with some hopefully happy plants in there. And the celery. We had the celery. We moved a couple of those, so now we have a full 10-20 tray filled with celery, more than I need. Well, there are as many containers in here as I want celery. Most of the celery has more than one in it, so I will likely be thinning those down. But everything is growing really well. The lettuce is absolutely beautiful here. The tomatoes are doing wonderfully. I actually up-potted some tomatoes as well in here. So everything's coming along. It's getting exciting. My thoughts on the soil blocks. I like the medium ones for sure. I like the mini ones as long as I can keep track of what they are. So there are soil blocks in here. So I've got them labeled now 1 through 9. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 4 of each going. I think 4 of each going in the different columns here. So if this doesn't work, I think I'm kind of going to give up on the little tiny soil blocks, which is okay because my other method of growing in trays like this is working well. Here's all that basil I started. We've got a lot of good germination in there. And I think we even have some eggplants starting to come up as well. So this method works for me. I may not continue on with the tiny soil blocks. We'll see. I do like the medium-sized ones. They fill up this tray, this 10-20 tray nicely. It's easy to scoop out the block, but then what to do with the block? Normally that's when I would put something into a red Solo cup. This year I was trying the large soil blocks, but they don't hold together very well. And I really don't see how this is different than my foil method because they all just kind of get smushed together in there anyway. So I might just fully plant them in a 10-20 tray. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm really happy with the germination I have so far. Look at this yarrow. I'm going to have to up-pot these at some point. That's a lot of yarrow. All the onions are doing well. So we're off to a good start. Thank you for joining me here at A Better Choice Homestead. My name is Kelly, and I hope you come back and visit again soon.